25, 40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, kick block! They block the kick!
This is the Oranges, Oranger Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, Monday Night Football, baby!
You know, it sounds like a broken record, but the better you get, the more we get to say this. This is the biggest Browns game in years. It's going to be the biggest Browns game in years. Every game we keep winning. But guess what? The fans are officially allowed in the game. It's going to be a blast. It is the biggest Browns game in 20 years.
It's the most important game until the next one. And we say
That's right, baby.
Every time. And joining us, she hosted and just did a dynamite job last week in our preview episode. I don't know why, or in our recap episode, why we're changing things up if everything works so well. Camryn Justice, our favorite Emmy-nominated digital content producer. How did you feel you did last week in our recap show?
I don't know how that's up to the listeners to decide, but I feel like I had a lot of fun. I think it was a good time. Hopefully I did well.
You killed it. Oh my gosh. You absolutely killed it. Camryn, awesome job. Well, let's get things started. Let's quit wasting time. Camryn, as per all of our preview episodes, what are the keys to the game if we want to come away with a victory against the Baltimore Ravens on a Monday Night Football, Week 14? Camryn, let's hear him.
All right, so I'm going to keep these pretty basic, pretty short, because I don't want to put too much pressure on the Browns, all right? They already have enough pressure on themselves having to face the Ravens after that Week 1 debacle. It was a really, really hard time for the Browns against the Ravens, but it's different this time. So my first key to the game is protect Baker Mayfield. That offensive line has to make sure that he is protected. He's got time to have that kind of performance he had last week. If they have to win in the air, he's got to have time. He was sacked twice when they played the Ravens last time. So he can't have that kind of pressure. Plus, we see how Baker performs when under pressure. Statistically, it is horrific compared to when he's in a clean pocket. So offensive line, keep up the great work that they're doing. Give Baker the time that he needs. And also, in that same sense, do what they're doing with the run blocking and allowing them to open up that run game. The Browns were pretty successful in Week 1 on the ground with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So doing that again really starts with that offensive line and their ability to set the run blocks and also protect Baker Mayfield, keeping him safe in that pocket, giving him a lot of time to go. Second key is going to be the defense, and it's a tough one, but it's a nice mix up between the linebackers and the secondary. They both have to, really step up because Lamar Jackson has, Chase, you're going to love this, he has been on the decline. He has just not been, the Lamar Jackson that we saw last season. He's at a kind of low point this season. So when you get him to force the ball, you force him to throw the ball, that's not his game. That's not where he's been. That's where he could end up. I don't want to discredit him and say that he can't throw at all, but that's not where his strength is. So if you force him to get the ball up through the air, then you rely on your linebackers, your secondary, your safeties to, keep that clean. Denzel Ward could play on Monday. That could be huge. But even if he doesn't, they have to step up, next man up mentality, and, just get that coverage that the Browns will need to stop the Ravens from pushing their way down the field. And my third key to the game is kind of a mental one. It's not something that they need to do on the field. It's what they're going to have to keep their heads cool. They cannot be under the pressure of the primetime lights. We saw them kind of fall apart in the primetime lights. And this is just setting the precedent for the next game. They got flexed into another primetime game the week after against the Giants now. So this is the first test they have in a primetime national setting game against the Ravens. It's a tough one, but it's one that they can't let that pressure get to them, because if it's mentally there, it's going to hold them back. It's going to restrict them, and it's really tough to do. And they can't think about the last season where they, kind of faltered under those big moment situations. They have to keep their heads down, work hard, pretend it's just a regular Sunday 1:00 game. I know it's exciting, being on a Monday Night Football game, and you can tell that the players are excited while trying to keep it cool. But this is the time to keep it actually cool. Keep your minds right. focus on this game, and then you've got the next game ahead of you, because these are big. Every week that they win is bigger. If they win the next two, I mean, that's it. You've got your goal, you've got your playoff. So that's what the mentality they have to keep. They cannot get flustered or too excited or get ahead of themselves just because they are playing in primetime. Those are my keys to the game.
Love it, love it, love it. Jeremy, as we say every preview, you are a resident locksmith. What say you about Camryn's keys to protect Baker and have the O-line step up, have the defense, linebackers, and DBs play above their level, and to keep a cool level head under the primetime lights? What say you, sir?
I agree 100% with all those. And let me say this, as far as protecting Baker, the Ravens are going to have Matthew Judon back. They're getting healthy. They're getting guys off the COVID list. So it's going to be wildly important that offensive line play up to the expectations that they've set by playing so well all year. So that is absolutely true. I think you'll see the Browns again come out and try to get a lead in the first quarter, because the Ravens are not a team that plays well from behind. We saw that in Baltimore last year when we beat them. The games they've struggled this year, same kind of thing. Look, Lamar is best when he can run first and they can chew clock. If we get a lead early, we force him to throw. Even with his number one target, Mark Andrews, back, that is not a position that the Ravens want to be in. So I think you'll look to see the Browns get out early. But absolutely, protecting Baker is going to be big in that, because we need to give him time to let those downfield routes develop and get them the ball. I agree 100% with the Browns being juiced. Look, they might be downplaying it. They're juiced for this game. You could just see their reactions to the Steelers loss to see how excited they are right now about everything that's going on. So it's going to be prime time. There's going to be 12,000 fans at the game. They're going to be loud. It's going to be the loudest 12,000 people you've ever seen. I can guarantee you that. You're going to have probably 50% of all this area watching the game. You have the whole country watching, because everybody's buzzing about the Browns right now. You cannot turn on ESPN or NFL Network without them talking Browns right now. The Browns are the league's buzz right now. I turned on this morning, we saw Dominic Foxworth, the guys arguing about the Browns, getting mad at each other over the Browns. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, the Browns do need to keep their cool, keep their composure, but I think they will, because I think they have the guys like Baker, like Miles, guys that can keep them straight. And I think they're gonna that energy is going to come out as enthusiasm, energy, and it's not going to be nervous energy. I think they're right now riding high. They know what they can be, and I think you're going to see that on the field Monday night, Jace.
Well, that would be incredible. Look, the proof is in the pudding. The Ravens are 32nd total offense in passing. So not really known for their passing, and Lamar hasn't really made a name of himself for passing. He passed well against us week 1, which drove me nuts. But the Ravens are one of the most explosive running teams in the NFL, second to us, the Browns. Lamar can make something out of nothing. And I feel like that has hurt the Browns, even all the way back to Ben Roethlisberger, right? For the past however many years, does he just looks like it's a backyard football play where he extends drives or scores, someone breaks loose behind the defense, just like not even a real play. If the play's broken down, either runners bounce off of him and he throws them deep. And I feel like Lamar is that same way. Lamar, the play's never over until he's down. And that's not to be a John Madden-esque. That's true. Lamar, he is an athlete, and he is explosive and he is dangerous, and you can try to contain, but he's quick, and he's gotten better at knowing when to run and when to slide and to pick when to make that happen. The Browns, I don't think, have played a quarterback like him all season, except for him. I think he's fairly. I think Tannehill had some, like he used to be a little more runner.
Yeah, he's more of a pocket guy now, though.
But it's not like they have a lot of experience practicing playing against guys like Lamar. And Lamar is like one, like it's not like there are a lot of Lamars anyway. So we know who the Ravens are. There's nothing the Ravens are going to do that's going to surprise us. And I don't think there's anything. Well, I don't know. Camryn, do they know who they're going to play? Are the Ravens more concerned about who they're playing and like what our offense is, or are we more concerned about their offense? Like where is that right now? Because I kind of feel like they might not know what kind of offense like they're going to see. Like this is still kind of new.
Yes, this is where it gets interesting because they're playing on two different levels right now. The Browns are going into this game, facing the Ravens team that just completely destroyed them in week 1. and showed that it almost embarrassed them. Really, they came out and they bounced back from it. But so the Browns are going into this Ravens team who has not been great. They were on a losing streak. They just broke that, but it was against the Cowboys. The Ravens have not been great. They are on the decline. They're on the lower part of their season, while the Browns are on a high. So the Browns are going into this. If they go into this expecting the Ravens from week one, and they might be well off because it's not the Ravens from week one if they play the same way that they've been playing. Now, the Browns are not the same Browns from week one. They have improved. They are playing on a high. So yeah, I think the Ravens have to figure out what this Browns team is, because it's not the team that they played week one. Like that is very clear that the Browns have grown and improved, and their offense is now, they do it so well. They play in multiples. They can run the ball well. We saw that in week one, but now Baker Mayfield has shown that he can also get the game won through the air. So then that's where the Browns are the strongest, is when they're able to marry the run game with the pass game, use both, do the play action, make it work that way. And it's almost unstoppable. And the Ravens haven't seen that yet. So yeah, they're game planning for something that they're not sure what they're going to get. And I think that gives the Browns a bit of an advantage here. And it's really nice to see that going into this game, that the Ravens they don't have any real expectation of what the Browns can be, because that's not the same team from week one.
Let me comment on that, Chase, because I think it's a great point. I think you made an absolutely phenomenal point. And I think that's what the Browns wanted to be from the beginning, and maybe they are there now. We know what the Ravens are going to do. We know Lamar is going to try to make plays. We know they're going to try to pound the ball. The Ravens have no idea what the Browns are going to do, because when you are a diverse offense, which it looks like the Browns are now, they're going to be almost impossible to defend. That's why there were so many guys running open, and all Baker had to do was hit them in that game, because Tennessee thought we were going to come out and try to pound the ball down their throat, and it was going to be a slobber knocker affair, and the Browns threw it all over them. That's the problem. When you are the offense that is diverse, that can do everything well, you're almost impossible to defend. So I think that the Ravens right now, and John Harbaugh's a great coach, and I'm sure they'll scheme it out, and they'll be prepared. But I think we're at a point now with our running game, and if Baker plays anywhere near the level he played last week, that the Browns are going to be extremely tough to defend.
Forecast in Cleveland Monday night, cloudy at the high of 36. So it's going to be a little cold, but probably the best weather for a home game they've had since October, right? It's not like it's going to be all four seasons or sleeting or hailing or whatever. It's going to be clear. It's going to be dry. I'm not seeing a ton of wind. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just going to be cold. And I think the Browns are okay with that. The Ravens are too, but it's just, they've played really well on offense in these nice weather games. I don't think the Ravens have played a Browns team with an identity like this, or with a level of execution the Browns have had ever. Right. And I think this is another litmus test for the Browns, for the AFC North. Is this going to be a passing of the guard? Is this going to be, oh man, the Browns, like they are for real. Like they're saying we're for real now because we beat a good Titans team. We spanked them, but like to beat the Ravens and to limit the former MVP and like all this, like that's another level. That's another step that this team needs to take. And just be mindful though, like every step they make here in the regular season, it just increases those expectations for the playoffs. And so we talked earlier that, hey, like if we just make the playoffs, that's all good. I don't know if that's the case anymore, guys. I really feel like if we continue and we end the season 13-3 or even 12-4, like I don't want to lose. I want to go in the playoffs, Camryn.
I think that's the expectations that fans have, and rightfully so. No one should be discredited for having those expectations, seeing how well the Browns have played. And yeah, if they end with a record like that, it's like, okay, well then, I mean, if you can do that and you can win these games, then why not win in the playoffs? But as much as they can act like you'd follow the protocol of act like you've been there before, this is like brand new territory for them.
Yep.
But
so,
limping into the playoffs at 8-8 is different than surging into the playoffs at 12-4 or 13-3.
It is. And if they were to go into the playoffs and, just completely lose embarrassingly, just get shut out, just look a mess, then I think we'd have a different story. But if they're in the playoffs and they're playing competitively and they just lose right off the jump, Yeah, it's
The
unfortunate.
Browns
but
don't just lose, Camryn. Something weird would happen. Someone would
something crazy always happens. I know. I'm just,
Yeah.
wide picture right now. We're early on in the talks of the playoffs. So,
Yep.
I mean, I think that if they are to make it there, that is the goal. We can't move the goalposts now and say, okay, we wanted to make the playoffs, but now we have to win the playoffs, or this is all a waste. It's not a waste. It's unfortunate. It's not a waste. I still think you've got to give credit where credit is due. If they make it there, that is massive, and you can't downplay that just because they exceeded your expectations. That just should set your expectations even higher for next season. So if they make the playoffs, but they don't win, okay, well, you showed us that you should win. So now that you've been there, act like you've been there. Next time around, get there and get through it and make your way deep into the playoffs.
I don't know, Jeremy. I feel like their success and the level of execution pushes the goalpost. And Jeremy, has your expectations changed? I know this is kind of away from the Ravens, but it's kind of a part of it. If we go out and show out Monday night, I mean, it's over. Like it is no longer just get playoffs. It's let's win.
Absolutely. Because you know what? There's no guarantee you'll be as good as you are next year. Look at Dan Marino. Dan Marino made the Super Bowl his second year in the league and never made it again. So once you get there, you got to take advantage of that. Yeah, there's a natural progression. Yeah, guys have never played in the playoffs and it's going to be a different feel, but nothing's guaranteed. The NFL stands for what? Not for long, right? So once you're there and you have shown that you can beat the best in the league, let's go ahead and try to win it. You know what I mean? So I agree though, but as they beat teams that are the top teams in the league and as they get stronger, the confidence builds and so does the expectation. So I think that you're right. If they keep winning and winning big games, then the sky's the limit.
But I don't think what I'm saying, I want to make that clear, is I'm not saying that it's like, just chalk it up. It is what it is if they lose. I'm saying if they lose, that you can't just switch it from like, oh, we're okay with this to burn the whole thing down. This team will never win. What a joke this is. And like go back to resorting to same old Browns. I think that it will be very disappointing if they make the playoffs and don't win the playoffs, if they look the way they do now, because that is the expectation. You get that, you get into that mindset of, well, why not? Because here we are. But it's not, I don't think, a reflection on, the success of the team in the future. If they don't make that, I don't think anyone should, discredit Kevin Stefanski or discredit Baker Mayfield. As long as Baker Mayfield looks good in these games, like decent in these games, don't discredit that. Don't try to move pieces and parts around and say, oh, it's not working, let's bring someone else in. I don't think that should be the case. I think that they've done a really good job to establish that this is the heart of the Cleveland Browns moving forward. This is they found their core, they found their pieces, and then you can add a little bit here and there to it. But I think this is the foundation that the Browns have been looking for. So now you have that foundation, you build upon it to make yourself better. But I would not want fans to think it's time to tear it all down again just because their expectations were set higher and it didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, if you hear a lot of these guys talk like Gerard Cherry, guys that played in the league, the hardest thing to do is change the culture. So if we go 11-5, 12-4 and lose in the first round of the playoffs, the culture has been changed. So now next year we come in with actual expectations, not hopes and prayers. We come in with expectation. And that is a culture change right there.
I think the culture's already changed, Jay.
I agree. I agree. I think we're there now. The culture has been changed. We're no longer a team hoping to win. We're a team expecting to win going forward. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to give Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield all the credit for that.
And Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry. Don't forget Jarvis. No, you're right. Jarvis started. Yeah, he's the spark. But I think, you have to get, it starts at the top, and it starts with
you're right.
Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. And even, we can't leave out Paul DePodesta because this is his plan, right? This is his brainchild.
Year 2 of this. If
it could have been.
Yeah. If we had given, Moneyball his choice. So yeah, I think to Camryn's point, there's no way, unless we lose the rest of our regular season games, this season is a success no matter what. Well, we win 10 games for the first time since 2007. We make the playoffs for the first time since 2001. The season's a success, and anything after that is gravy. But like we said, as each game we win, the expectations and the realistic expectations rise.
Well, Camryn, your keys to the game got me hyped. I'm looking through them and they seem really easy. They seem really feasible because it's what we've seen. Protect Baker Mayfield and O-line, make lanes for the running backs. Defense step up, LBs and DBs, play at your level and keep a level head, mentally stay focused on the play at hand. Camryn, I love them. I can't wait to see it happen, and it's going to be a great game. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with a game preview, and then we'll do some narratives and give our game predictions, bold predictions.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. We read one book a month and then we talk about it. Books like Stephen King's The Shining or Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. If you're on the hunt for book recommendations and enjoy sparkling conversation, come read along with us and then listen in.
I'm Dennis Maniloff, co-host along with the roadman Kenny Rhoda of the Next Man Up podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. Roadman and I do a deep dive into Browns, Indians, Cavs, Ohio State, and anything else that's on the sports fans' mind.
Hey everybody, it's Sam Amico from Cavs on the Break, NBA podcast. Be sure to give us a listen for all your Cleveland Cavaliers recaps, analysis, breakdowns, draft talk, free agency. The list goes on and on. Give us a listen, Cavs on the Break, NBA podcast.
Hey, it's JD from the Hyman Podcast. Using a narrative storytelling approach, the Hyman Podcast was created to start conversations that need to be human. Week by week, I'll break down walls and barriers and make people wildly uncomfortable, all the while giving a voice to the voiceless and the marginalized. Consider this your personal invitation to be part of that conversation.
All right, we're back. Let's hit to our game preview before we get to our narratives and bold predictions. Monday Night Football. The Browns and the Ravens, 8:15 kickoff at First Energy Stadium. Your 9-3 Cleveland Browns. They're 9-3 Cleveland Browns host the 7-5 Baltimore Ravens. And that just is a beautiful sentence to read. We played them week one, way back. Was that September or at the end of August? I think it was September. 38-6. Lamar torched us through the air, really. 3 TDs, 20 for 25, looked incredible. Their D took advantage of some early mistakes. Looking back at our show notes, these were our silver linings from that. Oof, what have we gotten ourselves into? Is this going to be a long season? We were pumped about Chubb and Hunt. We liked what we saw there. That checked out. We were proud of our O-line. We saw a lot of good things from O-line, and we would, over the next couple of weeks, we would find ourselves, hey, we were true to spot strengths in our O-line. And then finally, we said that even though we got embarrassed, we lost to one of the best teams in the league. That one hasn't aged as well, but the Ravens had a lot of injuries and they've regressed more to the mean a little bit. Baker Mayfield did some insights here from NFL.com. Baker has 0 picks in 5 straight games, the second longest streak for any Cleveland quarterback since 1970. Baker has this is really encouraging. This is I think what's been huge to it helped our Jacksonville game and Tennessee for sure. Baker has 4 TDs and a perfect passer rating. I guess it's a perfect passer rating, 158.3 on downfield passes of 10 yards or more in the air. The last 2 games, Baker's been lighting it up. He saw those Stafford tweets and is Baker a franchise quarterback, and he is dominating. The Ravens, as we mentioned earlier, kind of had a rough go the last couple of weeks. They've lost 4 of the last 6 games. And each of Baltimore's last 4 losses have been by 6 or fewer points. Listen to this story. The Ravens are number 1 in rushing. The Browns are 2nd in rushing. The Ravens are 32nd in passing. And the Browns are 27th in passing. So just slightly better. I'm sure that's been skewed the past couple of weeks. The Ravens are 23rd of total offense. The Browns are 16th at total offense. Just shows you how bad the Ravens are through the air. And the Ravens have a great defense, 8th total defense. The Browns are 19th. Jeremy, the line for this game, let's talk about it. What do you think it is?
So if I was setting the lines, I'd say Browns 3. I have a feeling, though, it's probably even up. Browns even up. E. I'd say an E is what they'll set it at.
You say it's a pick 'em, Camryn. What you got?
I know the line.
You know
this one, I finally know the line this time.
What is it? Tell us.
Browns are 1.5 point underdogs.
Home dogs, baby.
Doesn't even surprise me. It should, but it doesn't.
Home dogs.
I thought they're going to make it a pick 'em. I think it moved. Well, I bet you it moves to pick 'em by game time.
Oh no.
I think we'll see. We'll see where the money goes. If a lot of money's on the Browns, it'll move to pick 'em. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me because there's still this little brother thing that I think people see the Ravens as the Browns' big brother, even though the Browns did put it on the Ravens last year in Baltimore.
We did.
So, hey, but it's another thing. Got another week. Got to prove to more people again. You got to keep proving yourself.
Baker beat Baltimore his rookie year in Cleveland, lost to them last year. That was the last game of the season.
Last year, no, we played Cincinnati the last game last year.
Oh, that's right. In Cincy. The last home game might have been Baltimore, though. I don't know. Anyway, we got embarrassed week 1. I wouldn't be surprised, Jay, if the line bumps to Cleveland +2. I think they're going to see. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the line moves at some point. Jeremy, what are some narratives from the game? Let's talk through here and look into your crystal ball and tell us what you see happening Tuesday morning about what happened from this game.
Well, I think you touched on it a little bit ago. I think this game could be that torch passing game where the Browns pass up the Ravens. I think we wake up Tuesday morning, Baker Mayfield throws for 3 touchdowns, the Browns rush for 200 yards, and everybody's talking about, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, boys.
Jeez, Jay went there early. That wasn't even bold. It was bold to do it during narratives, though. That's what I'll say. Camryn.
Oh, you haven't heard my bolder prediction yet.
Oh, baby, I cannot wait. Camryn, let's look into your I'm not going to say crystal ball. Let's look into your hard drive and find some maybe drafts of some narratives on Tuesday morning. What you got?
What could I possibly be writing? Well, hopefully I'm writing about a victory. But I think that if the Browns pull this one off, I think the narrative shifts to, I mean, obviously last week when they beat the Titans, it was like the Browns are the real deal. I think this solidifies it. And I think that the Browns, I'm going to go bold here a little bit. The Browns might become the AFC North darlings because they're America's team now.
Right.
They flexed out the Cowboys. America's team, they flexed out the Cowboys to bring in the Browns and the Giants. America's team is here. They're real. They're doing their thing. And I think that might become like a shift in the way that people talk about the Browns in the AFC, in our division. It's not, oh, well, can the Browns even compete with the Steelers? Can the Browns even compete with the Ravens? Yeah, they can. They will for years to come. I think that might be, the start of that conversation if the Browns win convincingly against the Ravens.
That's right. I really see if the Browns do come away with a victory Monday night, you start to see people talk about how can the Browns get home field advantage? What will need to happen? It would shift away from securing a wild card spot to, oh man, Steelers have 1 loss. The Browns have 3. They play each other. All we need is that to happen, or the Chiefs. I really you start to think, you hear the Browns inserted into home field advantage. And that's just, Jeremy, what would you do if the Browns had a home playoff game? We mentioned it 5 weeks ago, and I was like written off again. Like, you're insane. What would you do?
That would be absolute insanity. I can't even imagine. I don't know what I'd do. I'd be there. I'll tell you that. But yeah. It would be absolute insanity. I think the Browns, one thing I can't wait, I think the Browns are going to come out Monday with so much juice. I think they're going to be so pumped. Oh man, I just can't wait.
Overthrow his first 3 targets.
Yeah. maybe start with a trick play with Jarvis throwing the ball, right? But yeah, I just think
or something.
Yeah, to calm that down a bit. But yeah, I think they're going to come out with so much juice. I can't wait. Yeah. I just can't wait to see it. But at your question about the playoff game, I don't know. It'd be pandemonium.
Who has more to lose, Camryn, with a loss in this game? The Browns or the Ravens? Who has more to lose?
I think the Ravens have more to lose in this one. If the Browns lose, it's not over for them. And it's unfortunate. It's almost a little embarrassing, getting swept by the Ravens after the Ravens have looked so bad for the last couple of weeks, having that expectation of we can compete with them. I think it's embarrassing, but the Ravens really have more to lose. If they lose to the Browns, I mean, their playoff picture is hanging in the balance. Yeah. So if they want to make the playoffs, they have to win. And if they don't win, I mean, what are you going to do? So the Ravens definitely have more to lose here. Not that should affect the way the Browns play this game. Because
as a fan, though, as a fan watching the game, like, I think that can determine if we do lose, how you take that loss and your perspective, right?
Absolutely. And fans should definitely go into this knowing that the Ravens are definitely they have a lot more implications on the line with this specific game. With the Browns, yes, this win would be amazing. It would be huge for them. It's a very big game. Don't downplay the game, but it's not all doom and gloom. All hope is lost if they lose. Whereas if the Ravens lose, I mean, their playoff picture just starts to completely crumble. Yeah, it's already not looking great for them. And so if they lose this game, they're going to have to chalk up, having a postseason. So definitely a lot more on the line. So fans should definitely know that the Ravens have a lot more to lose than the Browns do this game.
I will say this, though. I agree 100% with that. But the Ravens, I can't remember. I looked up the schedule. The Ravens, after this game, have the easiest schedule in the NFL the last 3 games. So it all is not lost. But, man, it's going to be tough to climb out of that hole if the Browns do beat them. So, yes, I agree 100%. The Ravens have more to lose. But the Ravens do still have a chance, even if they lose this game, because of their schedule just so incredibly easy the last 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they play the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Bengals, but
yeah,
the Giants might put up a fight.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. November 8th, the Cleveland Browns had a bye. We had just got beaten by the Raiders. We come back after the bye. We beat the Texans. We beat the Eagles. We beat the Jaguars. We beat the Titans. And we're rolling. We play the Ravens on Monday night. We are peaking, maybe too early, but we are peaking at the right time. We understand who we are. We know what works, what doesn't work. As long as Stefanski doesn't get in his own way and try to do a Baker triple shovel reverse Statue of Liberty annexation of Puerto Rico play, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. Jeremy, you said you didn't give us a bold prediction yet. You were waiting. Let's hear it, man. Fire away. What is your bold prediction for the Monday night game?
I'm going to say for the second week in a row, Baker Mayfield goes over 300 yards passing with 4 touchdowns.
Woo. I love it, baby. Jay, you're getting
my bold prediction.
It's taking you about 3 seasons, but you're finally there. Bold prediction.
Missed my bold prediction last week by 4 seconds. Right?
I got to go back and look, man. I don't.
It was 2 touchdowns. It was 2 Baker Mayfield touchdowns in the first quarter.
That's right.
Was my bold prediction, and then he got his second 4 seconds into the second quarter. So.
Oh, you were close.
He was close. Camryn, hit us. Bold predictions. What you got?
This is more of a a fever dream. Maybe it happens. Bold prediction: the Browns get 2 interceptions off Lamar Jackson. Woo! One of them is either taken to the house or very close. I won't go super bold, but
love it.
But a pretty good return on one of the interceptions.
Love it. My bold prediction is we're going to see Kareem Hunt take a screen pass to the house. I think we haven't seen him use a lot through the air. And how he was used in Kansas City, he was dynamic in the air, and they used him almost as a receiver out of the backfield. And I think just with some of the schemes the Ravens are going to play, I think we're going to see some of that and start trying to save his legs. Like, I think you're going to start seeing different play calling to take away from the meaningless in between the tackle runs with Hunt. I think he's taking some punishment. And I think we're going to see him a little more in the open field. And I think we're going to see him take a screen pass to the house.
Hey, Chase.
That feels pretty conservative for me, but that's what I'm going to say.
I think you're dead on the money, right? And I'll tell you why. I don't know if you saw this today, but Baker Mayfield he has one of the highest passer ratings in the league when he has no pressure on him. When he's pressured, he still has some problems. So I think you're right. I think the Ravens are going to bring a ton of pressure. And how do you neutralize that pressure? The screen game. And I think they get Kareem Hunt. I think you're right. They're going to get him much more involved in the passing game this week, and possibly Chubb as well. And if they're bringing the house and Kareem breaks 1 tackle, boom. So
who do you think is better
great
than
bold prediction?
Jeremy, Kareem or Chubb?
I think Chubb has more straight line speed, right? Straight line speed. But I think Kareem Hunt is maybe a little more, has a little more shake. I don't know. I think they're both,
That's a hard question.
I think they're both pretty darn good. Camryn. Yeah, I think they're both pretty darn good, though.
Open field, who do you think has the advantage?
I would say Kareem, just based on the speed. Not that Nick Chubb is not speedy, but like that's the extra power that Kareem Hunt provides. Nick Chubb is more of that, that power carry you, break the tackle, put you on my shoulders. Kareem Hunt can bring that, but I think Kareem Hunt is more so the speed in that duo. So I would say Kareem Hunt wide open, but I mean, I wouldn't be mad either way. I mean,
Right.
it's close.
Right. So Denzel Ward, let's talk about the couple of major players for the Browns real quick, and then we'll sign off here. Denzel Ward, probable to play.
That's what it sounded like. Kevin Stefanski's always been pretty honest with the media when you listen to his stuff. And he said today he's hopeful that he's going to play. And, he's been pretty honest about it.
Okay. Camryn, have you heard any different?
No, it's I wouldn't say probable at this point. I would say possible and yes, hopeful. But he didn't practice today. He was, on the sidelines working, like stretching out, doing some stuff, but not a participant in practice. So I think we'll have a better picture tomorrow.
Yep.
If he's able to even be limited in practice tomorrow, I think the possible and the hopeful turns into a probable, but that's just something that plays out throughout the week.
Wyatt Teller, is he out?
No, he's
going to play.
He's probable.
Good.
Right.
Good.
Yes,
good.
he is probable.
Unless he has a negative test tomorrow. I believe he can come off Friday, right, Camryn? I think he can come off Saturday. I think he can come off the COVID this Saturday.
He has to have a negative test on Saturday.
That's big.
Yeah, then he comes
to return, and then he'll be able to come back to team activities and be with the team on Sunday. So he won't really get much practice in this week. But we're deep into the season.
Take the Joe Thomas approach on that one.
Yeah, Coach Stefanski said today that he is on track to play. So.
Yeah.
And Des Bryant, he is not playing, right? That's weird.
He is out.
Yeah. Strange. Oh crap! I know one of my bold predictions. Justin Tucker will miss another field goal. Crap! I'm gonna add that.
I like that.
Yeah. I texted Jeremy when he missed that
oh my gosh!
Did I say
that was incredible?
2 more the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah. So
that was incredible. It was so funny because I do believe in the announcer jinx, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were both buckets like, oh, this is as automatic gets in sport. He's hit 70 in a row. And
he hit it. And then someone was a flag or a timeout or something.
And then so it went from 31 to 36, but it was still within 40 yards where he'd hit 70 straight. And boom, shanks it. Unbelievable.
He's going to miss one. He's going to miss at least 2 more at the end of the season, but he's going to miss one Monday night. One more question. Have they released the uniform combos?
That should come out tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Well, what do you hope to see under primetime Monday night? I think they're going to do the collar rush, kind of looking thing. You don't like that? Camryn, she doesn't like it.
I want the brown and orange pants, brown jerseys.
I want the brown and orange.
Yep,
honestly, whatever top you want to go with, that's fine. Do you? Orange pants are a must right now. This is
what?
Brown and orange, baby.
The orange pants, man.
I think that
they do tend to wear those color rush. They do tend to wear the color rush against the Ravens, though.
I think they're going to go brown on brown or the brown jersey, white pant.
I'm okay with that too.
Orange. I think they're going orange pants, Chase. I love the orange pants too.
The orange pants are everything to me.
Right? The orange and brown to me is my favorite.
And I know I made a face. Obviously, the podcast didn't get to see my face, you guys listeners, but I did make a face at the color rush, and it's just because it's my least favorite. I think that there could have been a lot more to do with. I just wanted more. It's still good. It's just not my favorite. I'm a big fan of the orange pants. That classic look.
Well, as long as the orange is oranger, then we're okay. Then that's all we need, right? Well, hey, we just wanted to say thank you so much for downloading and listening to the pod. You guys are just so great. And hey, we are seeing more followers trickle in on Twitter. So thank you so much for doing what you guys do. Camryn, Jeremy, thank you for your time tonight. I can't wait to Monday evening. It's going to be a weird Sunday, but it's going to be a great Monday night. Camryn, what you got coming down the pike this weekend?
I'm just looking forward to the Browns getting to see. I'm waiting to see these injury reports, seeing these players come in, see who's going to be available. But right now things are looking good for the Browns. They're trending upward. Some Ravens players are out. That's always a good sign. And any help the Browns can get on that front. So things are looking good right now. We got a couple days to wait. Excited for a primetime game in Cleveland against a team that should be a pretty good football game. And then, it'll be a victory Tuesday. Woo! If they pull it off, and that'll be a nice, interesting mix. Yeah. So let's go.
It's good. Jeremy, any final thoughts, brother?
Yeah, let me get serious for 1 minute, which I normally don't do. If you're going to the game, don't be a moron. You know, we got this lucky break that they're going to let us keep going to the games. Keep your distance, wear your mask. Don't get so hammered that you're in people's faces. Be loud at your seat with the proper distance, but don't be a moron so we can keep going to these games. And if we were to by chance end with a playoff game, we want to be able to go. So if you're going to the game, obey the rules, obey the distancing, don't be a moron, and root loudly for the Browns.
Sounds great. Jeremy, Camryn, thank you so much, and go Browns.
Go Browns. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Let's get it.
Anything less is my finger.